All right, welcome to another episode of Soto Desperado Plays Ark Survival Ascended. I'm still trying to finish consolidating the pterodons. It's not a great consolidation, but it's there. And just bred these females. I'm trying to get these new females to mate with their daddy to pass on the consolidation he carries. Let's see. Where the hell is the consolidated male? What happened to him? Oh, he's not over here, is he? Go to 4, Pterodon, Barbie. Here's the 3 females. Oh, he's way over here. Oh, shit. Consolidated male. There we go. I didn't even see him. Alright. So, I'll put that guy here. Okay. So anyway, we're going to get these ladies knocked up. Hopefully we'll get, because right now it's breeding bonanza, so now's the time to try to get your consolidations done, because it's just faster. And if I'm real lucky, what I need is a consolidated female to match his stats. All right, that's what I really need. And I need I need the female that's at 370 born, 370. Just like he's 370 born. Anyway, I have a video lined up. I started watching it and then I crashed. So it's from Legion of Men. The real reason you can't afford a house. Alright? This is going to be interesting. The real reason you can't afford a house.
Welcome back, tribe. Have one here that says the real reason you can't afford a house. Gonna get heavy.
How am I supposed to compete with a hedge fund out of Texas on buying a home? It makes you feel insane because it's like there's a conspiracy against me at this point.
If you're looking for a place to live right now, you face a radically different housing market than people did even just 15 years ago. Home prices have gone up, rents have gone up, evictions have increased, and a whole group of would-be home buyers has been...
Look at that graph. Income needed to buy a house, median house value. You see how it shot up from 2020? This is the COVID money printer now we're all paying for a few years later. Trump printed 40% of the money supply, well, at least under his directive. I don't care who you blame, the Fed, Trump, Republic, it doesn't matter. Look, the government, red or blue, it's not on our side. They completely screwed the pooch when it came to money printing. It goes burr, we all pay for it. This is what's happening. It's only going to get worse. Now we're headed for stagflation. This is such an insane topic that in a short span of a few years, a majority of Americans have gotten priced out of homes just on cost. So we're not talking about the institutional investors that are coming in and overbidding 15, 20, 30,000 over asking price cash and just taking properties from right up under average, ordinary American families that are trying to start a foothold somewhere and begin their new lives. Insane. Disgusting is what it actually is.
Priced out of homeownership, becoming permanent renters.
People want to own the American dream. They don't want to rent the American dream.
They've been replaced by an industry that treats our communities and neighborhoods like a day trader treats stocks. Just something to buy and sell to maximize return.
It's been catastrophic.
Really, just a few firms have been able to target and corner the market here. Their business model is built on exploitation and on having a very uneven playing field tilted in their favor.
Joke.
So who exactly is behind this? We went to the cities at the center of this crisis to understand how single-family homes became big business.
I wonder if Atlanta or Phoenix is going to be one of the locations that they show, because I lived in both those cities, and it seemed like 40% of the neighborhoods I was living in, I lived in neighborhoods like this, slightly nicer, with a gated community entry, and almost half of the houses were owned by an institutional investor and rented out on the market. Wild to see the change happen. Charlotte, North Carolina, huh?
Yo nunca he hablado con los dueños, solamente con las personas que trabajan para el dueño.
For the last 7 years, Sandra de los Santos has rented this house in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, she's packing up. In a few weeks, she and her family have to leave.
Yo le dije a la compañía que hace 2 años la casa se venía llenando de moho, pero ellos nunca me habían hecho caso.
From the beginning, Sandra's had problems with the rental. Every time it rained, water flooded into the house. Then came the mold.
Mi esposo tuvo que cambiar esa pared para que no nos afectara, porque mis hijos prácticamente ellos cada mes estaban enfermando. Eran desvelos de mis hijos, no íbamos a trabajar por hacer todo eso y ellos no nos han compensado con ni $1. Nunca, al contrario, nos suben las rentas.
It's been years and she's been asking for repairs.
Jessica Moreno is a housing organizer who's helping Sandra.
They got their rent raised every year. They do what they can to make sure the rent is paid every single month. And then on top of that, they still have to fix the home.
When she looked into Sandra's landlord, she found it's a Texas-based private equity firm that's among the largest owners of single-family homes in the country.
She rents from a corporate landlord called Amherst. Just in Charlotte, Amherst owns 1,583 homes. When you think of landlords, you think of someone that has maybe 2 houses, right? That's not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with, backed by Wall Street, corporations that own thousands of homes.
Sandra says she spent $25,000 repairing the house, and Amherst hasn't paid her back for any of it.
They actually have an office here in Charlotte, which we went to, and it's 2 suites that are filled with boxes. No one's there.
After Sandra protested publicly, the company finally contacted her and sent an inspector to the house. Then they offered her $2,000 to leave.
It's a slap in the face.
Wow.
Of course, she said no. She wasn't going to take that. Then they said that she would have to leave at the end of her lease. She was forced out of her community. And a lot of people are under that situation.
I told you, America is the land of profits over people. These corporations don't give a shit about you. It's about maximizing profit in the short term, so they'll kick your ass out the moment they get a chance, or if you become a nuisance like this. Hey, you want us to go fix the mold? We're not going to do that. Here's $2,000. Shut the fuck up. Oh, you're going to cause a bigger stink now? Well, check this out. We're not renewing your lease. Goodbye. You could have been in this place for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, bro. This could be your long-term home. This was a point of stability for you guys. And even then, you're a renter, so you're never safe. But at least back in the day, you were dealing with a property owner that you knew. It was like a neighbor that lived nearby, had a second house or something like that. You met them. These are just companies, faceless entities that live in other states. You can't even go to a local office. It does nothing. You have to reach a number and plead with somebody you don't know that doesn't care about you. That's dystopian as fuck.
This is a problem that didn't exist 10 or 15 years ago.
Taylor Shelton is a geographer who maps the ownership of single-family homes.
Prior to the 2008 foreclosure crisis, large corporations were really not involved in the single-family rental market at all.
After the 2008 crash, Wall Street saw an opportunity in millions of foreclosed homes, especially in the Sunbelt cities hardest hit.
What the foreclosure crisis presented was a mass of available inventory for extremely cheap.
So when property values skyrocketed over the next decade, the proceeds went to Wall Street, not to the people who now rented the homes. The result has been a housing recovery without a homeowner recovery.
Yep.
By 2022, large investors were buying more than 1 in every 4 single-family homes sold in the U.S.
That's crazy.
The absolute largest companies there are 2. The first is Invitation Homes, which is a publicly traded...
And it's messed up that they say we have a housing shortage or a housing crisis in the United States. We don't. We are building enough. In some areas, we're not building enough. But we don't. The housing crisis is manufactured because institutions are allowed to buy up whatever's available. You cannot start a family in the United States today. You can't even get a house for anything resembling reasonable prices. Insane, dude. I seen it myself. The houses that I were looking at shot up by 100, 200,000 in the span of a few years. Completely priced me out. They've gotten so expensive. There's one house that I was looking at. This guy paid, I think, $350 for it when he bought it, if that. And he listed it on the market. The ball's on this guy. $950,000. That house was not worth a penny over $500. but the inflation, it was so insane. The market was so hot in Phoenix. The property prices, 30%, they were going up year over year over year. It's maddening.
Real estate investment trust. The next biggest actor is Progress Residential, which is owned by a private equity firm, Pretium Partners, based in New York City on Wall Street.
Gross.
After those two biggest companies, there's really four more. Amherst Holdings, based in Texas. First Key Homes, owned by Cerberus Capital Management. American Homes for Rent, now known as AMH. And then Tricon American Homes. There's
So welcoming Cerberus Homes, Tricon Homes. Yes, bro. Yes, I'd love to rent from Cerberus Homes. I'll be treated with dignity and respect.
really three things that
Holy
these
crap.
landlords are able to do. The first is these landlords raise rent and fees at much faster rates than any other type of landlord. The second thing is that eviction is a really core part of their business model. Institutional investors are way more likely to file for eviction, not as a kind of last resort, but actually at the very first moment they're able to. And then the third thing is that we know these companies are actually producing worse outcomes in terms of building maintenance. So they are, in effect, providing a worse product for higher prices.
Corporatization of America in a
In
nutshell.
Atlanta, Wall Street landlords now own
There
more
it
than
is.
a quarter of single-family homes. I met up with Robbie Caban, an Atlanta broker who's been working in real estate for over a decade.
What I've seen is that my clientele, that buying pool of first-time homeowners or elderly who are downsizing, with limited income, like veterans and so on, they're no longer able to purchase. They have just been wiped
Priced
out because they cannot compete with the other buyers in the market.
Tell me more about the corporate buyers. What influence have you seen them have on the market here?
It's been catastrophic. Truly, the pool of homes available has been so diminished that, in essence, normal people who have just general lending on limited funds are priced out. And they're forced into rentals. And because those same companies control the rentals, there are very little options. When a cash buyer can come in, like the corporate buyers, and buy within 5 days, no appraisal, virtually no inspection, as is, how can a person who needs 30 days or more, needs an inspection, needs a due diligence period, needs an appraisal for the bank, it's required, compete with that? They can't.
Yep.
According to one study, the shift from owning to renting has resulted in over $1 billion of lost equity for renters over the last 10 years. And that's just in Atlanta.
I mean, I paid $24,000 last year for a place that I have nothing to show for.
Austin Hunter is a cabinet maker whose last three landlords have been different investment firms, most recently First Key Homes. In the last 6 years, Austin's rent has doubled. Long term,
Holy
he thinks
shit.
it might make more sense just to live in his van.
How am I supposed to compete with a hedge fund from Texas that's trying to buy a house when any house that I could ostensibly afford, they're coming in with cash? It really feels like I'm pushing a boulder up the hill and continually getting bludgeoned by the boulder coming back down on me.
Yep.
Corporate owners of single-family homes argue that they don't contribute to the housing crisis, pointing to the fact that
But what a crock of shit. You're buying up upwards of 25% or more of all the available housing, paying cash, not getting them appraised, no checks with nothing. And you already own thousands of other homes in the area, and you evict people at the first chance you get, and you push up rent year over year, crazy, unlike every other landlord. You totally don't have an effect on the market. Corporate bullshit speak.
nationally, they own less than 10% of the market. But if you're looking for a place to live, the market you care about isn't national. It's one neighborhood versus another. And in some cities, these firms are building local monopolies.
The way these companies' business practices have evolved is essentially to avoid competing with one another through this geographic targeting. Invitation Homes tends to purchase in, on average, wealthier and whiter communities. Progress and Main Street Renewal tend to...
I used to live in Gwinnett County. That's crazy. I'm not surprised. They behave like the cable companies, like the internet companies, where they have little monopolies in certain areas. You have AT&T that only deals with this area. You have Comcast that only deals with this area. You have Centrum that only deals with this area. It's such bullshit. When is the government going to fix this problem? That's the question we're all asking.
Focus on somewhat poor, predominantly black neighborhoods. In some neighborhoods, it's upwards of 50 or even 75% of all single-family rentals are owned by these large Wall Street investors.
Wow.
That element of market power is really significant in the way these companies operate, really meaning that if you want to live in a given neighborhood, you're forced into working with a single landlord.
They set the price. And the price is outrageous.
Today, my administration is sending a very clear message to corporate landlords.
In July, the Biden-Harris administration announced a new plan to slow rent increases.
We are going to cap rent increases at no more than 5% a year.
Oh, God, we capped it, bro. Is that it? That's the Band-Aid solution? We're supposed to be happy that you capped it at 5%, so it's still outpacing people's earnings. Coupled with inflation in general of everything else, you're still not making ends meet. This is crazy to me. How about you ban corporate ownership of family homes? Period. If you own a single home, you have to pay something outrageous, like 80% of the tax rate of all profits coming out of there. Make it so untenable for corporations to even want to get into owning multiple properties. That's the only way out. We would need supply to free up at such an amount just to start beginning fixing this problem with the housing crisis. And that's the only way, with real legislation, not this bullshit 5% cap. Jesus.
The proposal follows another effort by Democrats in Congress to address corporate landlords' control over the housing market.
We should get the hedge funds out of the housing business.
Senator Merkley's bill would cap ownership at 100 properties and make corporate landlords sell the rest in 10 years. But so far, no legislation has been brought up for a vote.
Of course,
corporate ownership of single-family homes is hardly the only problem with our housing system. But the way Wall Street has siphoned up neighborhoods that were once a path to building wealth for working people, it's really one of the clearest examples of the fundamental problem.
We value money, not people.
I told you guys it's a corporatocracy, dude. Your interests don't align with the government's. They're bought and paid for by Wall Street, by multinational corporations, their campaigns, all their funds, everything. Everything. There is ulterior motives. You go counter to their whims and needs. This is why the government operates the way it does. It constantly screws over the little guy, and yet it rewards the corporations. Bought and paid for. Welcome to America. This guy says, as a Canadian, the housing and healthcare crisis have me so disappointed and frustrated with all of our politicians. They do basically nothing. Seeing these major problems develop over years, it's ridiculous. Worst product at higher prices is the private equity slogan. It's absolutely frustrating. As somebody that was looking to buy a house in America and is struggling, watching the price escape me in real time as I'm saving money, my dream vanishing before my eyes, the thoughts of fatherhood, starting a family along with it, just because the government can't do its goddamn job and nip this corporate investment in the bud of single family homes. They don't want to do anything. And of course, why? Because it doesn't align with their interests. Why should they listen to the little guy? Why should they care about the little guy? All they care about is you paying your taxes, going to work like a little slave, and keep producing for the machine at large, while they siphon all the profit upwards into their pocket so they can buy their 10th yacht. Such bullshit. Back in the day when I purchased my first home to live in, that was Miami in the early 1990s. First mortgages with rates of 8 to 9% and 9 to 10 were typical. People will have to accept the possibility that we won't ever return to 3%. If sellers must sell, home prices will have to decline, and lower valuations will follow. Pretty sure I'm not alone in my chain of thoughts. This country, and I believe this fully too, this country has socialism for the rich, rugged individualism for the poor. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. But if I'm a corporation, I'm too big to fail. Daddy, bail me out with public money. America in a fucking nutshell. Capitalism my ass. We'll see you guys on the next one. Appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate everybody that's been buying shirts, joining the private community, hanging out with us on some of the calls, and doing some of the private consults too. A lot of people are interested in going overseas, so those conversations have been interesting to say the least. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody.
Jesus, dude. Yeah, that's pretty rough, man. I mean, I had the same American dream, but it's all programming through commercials. And, my family never had anything fantastic. As a matter of fact, they always were fighting against each other, and they couldn't cooperate long enough to accomplish a major goal. It really was too much to ask to have them cooperate and actually work together to buy a house. Like the Mexicans come over here, and 2 or 3 families will go in there, and they'll buy a house, right? And they'll pay the house off quickly, as quick as possible. Then once they own the house, they can make changes to it, and then they can go and save up money to buy the next house. And that's how they do it. And we're all supposed to be able to do that at some level. But they just don't let that happen. Oh, fuck. Yeah, by the time the goddamn thing comes up here. There, it's just an 88. Shit. No, baby, get out. No, not in the mood. She's always so needy. She's just a little girl, but damn. Meow, 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 meow. Every day. Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, I surrendered that dream when I realized that the Dictionary of Occupational Titles and the Occupational Outlook Handbook, which are in the federal libraries and the university libraries, pretty much doubled the amount of money you're supposed to make. They doubled it. So instead of making what you would normally make now, which would be, nowadays things have gone up a little bit because of inflation. So we're talking probably 60,000 on the high end, 70,000 if you know somebody. But in the occupational title handbook, they made it seem like you can make 150,000. But the thing is, that's for jobs where they're, not only is it a hot technical job, but it's a job where you're basically going to line the resume to get in and get your career started, and that's it. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where you are going to bullshit your way in and then keep doing that and playing the corporate game. And a lot of people, they do that successfully. For people who do that successfully, man, they're happy. You know, they got what they want out of life. But for those of us who don't lie in the resume and we're very straightforward and honest and shit, they don't have a place for us in this world, much less corporate. Liars just don't belong here. I mean, liars are the only ones that belong here. Honest people, you fucked, you know. As far as they're concerned, you don't need a job. You need extermination, you know. They don't give a fuck. A lot of these things are so goddamn Nazi, it's not even funny, man. And, you know, the corporate America, they just they're used to pushing the American laborer around because the American laborer will not rebel. See, the reason why we have what we deserve is simply because we don't have the wherewithal to say, no, we don't want to live that way. No, we don't want this sort of system. You know, nobody stands up to the politicians. They are controlling you. Absolutely. It's not even partial. They are absolutely controlling you, and they are absolutely going to exploit you, like he said, for all you're worth. And it's sad as that is, I need to get my stand back. Anyway, as sad as that is, you have to realize that you're living in a competitive environment, and it's the way they see it, it's either you or them. And so they're going to choose their family and friends over anybody else. They're not going to care about what you think or what you want. You are irrelevant. You're just a gear. You're just a cog in the machine. You don't really mean anything to them. And that's why I stopped being so overly zealous. I do a good job, and I do that to keep my paycheck coming. I don't do a great job because you can't do a great job when you don't have enough control over the system anyway. You know, they limit my control. And that's all it is. It's slavery. Justified slavery. Whoa. Level 64 gig. Almost got me too. Fly away from them and do some of these over here. I'm almost full. Yeah, the American dream is not really dead. It just goes to certain people. Certain people can afford it. And, you know, it's just another one of those things in life where it's too expensive to to purchase. We can't afford the American dream. It's not dead. It's like saying that hope is dead. Hope doesn't die. Hope renews. Hope changes. It adapts like everything else. You can have all the hope you want. Of course, hope isn't going to equate to money to pay the rent. But you can have hope to keep you going. That those people that live in the street, even though some of them are addicted to drugs, they still have hope that things will get better. Otherwise, they would have suicided and given up. People without hope will suicide. They'll just kill themselves. And that's a horrible thing. I used to be in that position. I got a little taste of that, and I can tell you right now, it doesn't play into anything. All it does is it gives these other people the advantage, and the whole thing is psychologically set up for you to fail. It's literally set up for you to fail. Literally set up to lose the battle here. That's the way it is. Let's see. Thought I'd get some more metal. Later on, when I start building stuff, I'm going to need a lot of metal. There we go. That's not bad. All right. Yeah, I mean, I used to get angry. Then I realized this whole thing, when you look at it systemically, it's a plan to destroy America, destroy humanity, destroy whatever. Nobody really cares, and that's a sad thing. Oh shit! I didn't know that. Okay, I would have put this down there. I need to make as much flint as I can. Spark powder. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get on the thing here. Forgot about that flint. I didn't think I'd get that much flint out of that, but I guess I was wrong. So it should be empty now. Now, where is that fucking bird? I heard that bird out here somewhere. There it is. I hate those birds. I usually put plants around my base. I just didn't bother doing it right now. So, anyway. Let's do the next video. I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. Alright. Love that guy, Legion of Men. He's cool. Here's this one. Ford boss me. Our communities are being ruined by these illegals, and city officials are helping them to do so.
Of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What's going on, yo? Good morning. Hope you have a great day. I hope you're feeling well, and if you're not feeling well, you figure out how to feel well. One of the things that I can't get off my mind is how these politicians that run our cities and towns have the nerve to allow our communities to be destroyed by illegal immigrants coming in here. I was watching on TikTok a independent news place from Chicago called More Real News. I think it's Moore, Real News. And there was a lady standing at a podium speaking to Brandon Johnson and some of the different constituents that they have that, are leaders for each one of the different areas in Chicago. And she was straight telling him, you are a disgrace. You are a disgrace to black people. You are a disgrace to Americans. And she said, I'm like 80 or 82 years old. She said, I'm old enough to remember drinking from the different water fountains. The water fountain that said for black people, and then the other water fountain said for white people. I had to drink in different water fountains than other people that I lived around. But the one thing I did not have to worry about is when I went back to my community, it not being safe. Or my community being tore up. Because back then we didn't have that. You know, it is a disgrace. You go look at some of these communities where these people have been moving in. You look at some of these businesses and stuff where they've been moving in. You look at the trail from Venezuela to the United States of America, and it looks like nothing but a straight garbage dump. And every area that they walk through, they pass through, they just destroy, leave shit and piss and garbage and stuff all over the place. And that's just what they do. They're not going to change for us. They're not going to change for anybody else. They don't care about our way of living. They care about what it takes to get to the next step in their life. They're building their gangs up here. They're building up their presence. They're building up a name for themselves, just like MS-13 did back in the day. And when they feel the threat, when they feel that there's no more money coming in from the government, when they feel that that's gone, good luck. It's going to be hell. And let's talk about our city officials and stuff. Do you think that there's just random people coming in that are buying up these apartment buildings and these houses and turning them into government houses? No. It's your city officials that are doing it. They're creating fake LLCs, they're creating fake companies, and they're coming in and they're buying up apartment buildings and houses and stuff like that. And they're housing these illegals because there's X amount of dollars that these families get for being in these apartments. Well, that means the landlord has to get paid for being on this government housing as well. Or that landlord might be your city manager, might be your mayor, might be the governor of your state. That landlord might be the different aldermen that represent the different districts and stuff where you're from. It's not just random people that come up with $400,000 to buy this out and then let's go ahead and rent this out to. A lot of it is your city officials that are doing it because they are getting paid. It sucks, man. It's sad how Brandon Johnson sat there at that table and let that lady say all those things to him and didn't even have a single expression change on his face. He just sat there like this the whole time. Didn't even show emotion, didn't show anything. Just let that lady talk, and then she finished with, "You are a disgrace." That's like that'd be like his mama there, standing there scolding him. A woman that old. Brandon Johnson ain't that old. He's a goofy looking son of a gun, but he ain't that old. You know, I think we need to start everybody across the board with electing different officials than what we're used to and what we're so comfortable because of their skin color or because of where they're from, and start electing them more on their policies and what they're going to do and have done for the community and for us as Americans. You know, that's where we need to start. And we got a couple months left before the election, but it's going to be chaotic. It is going to be chaotic. It's already starting to get there. 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump.
Yeah. They don't like the empire threatened.
Come on, man.
I mean, it's obvious.
Even that dude from the Cuomo dude came forward and said, you know, even though I don't agree with what Trump says and his policies and stuff like that, and he should be criticized for it, I do not agree that anybody should be trying to attack him to take his life or anything like that because of political differences. And he said I had to reach out to him to apologize that he's having to go through all this. He shouldn't have to go through this. He said if it was me and I was going through this, you'd never see my face. This dude has like grandchildren that he could lose out on and everything else, and he's still putting his life out there. He's still putting his life on the line for the American people and what he believes in. That in itself is commendable. Because Cuomo said, if that started happening to me, I'd go in hiding. I wouldn't be out in public for anybody to attempt to assassinate me. That's pretty strong coming from him. That should tell you everything you need to know right there. Y'all be blessed. I love y'all. Vote Trump 2024. That's all I can say. If you want to change, that's the only way we're going to get some kind of change. Take care.
It's never a change for us.
Hillary thinks that us social media influencers that are boosting Trump should be prosecuted because that's exactly what Mueller did to the Russians with the Trump interference or whatever they called it. That she thinks that we should get the same treatment. If we're boosting somebody like Donald Trump, we should be prosecuted for it. Fuck her. Anyway, have a great day. Y'all be blessed.
That was a short one. I missed most of it. I was in the bathroom. I got stuck in there. That kid that tried to kill Trump the first place looked like some loner kid. Who knows what got in his head to do that? It could be demonic possession. We don't know. Could have been paid to do it. I don't know. As to the other guy seems more like a patriot willing to fight. And he was willing to go fight in another country, for people that aren't even his. That's how it was. I mean, he seemed like a good dude. A little bit white trashy, but I mean, shit, who isn't nowadays? They got a little white trash in it, a little Mexican now. Let's see. I think I might be full. Okay. So anyway, my theory is that either demonic possession or they were paid off to go ahead and try to kill off Trump. The thing is, Trump, some people are saying Trump is just putting out a bunch of bullshit. And then other people are saying, see, Kamala's lying. Kamala's putting on a show. Kamala's fake. And I'm like, they're all both politicians, They do the same thing. They're there to own your ass in the name of the elite. There are no good guys in politics. There are people that may try to be good people, but there aren't any good guys. They're not even good guys on the job, man. I told them I have diabetes and I get up and I urinate like so many times per day. They wanted a note from the goddamn doctor stating that. They didn't take my word for it. They didn't give a shit. And they wouldn't give me more minutes to go to the bathroom. What they did is they said, well, instead of giving you 2 15-minute break, we can bring it down to a couple of minutes. And I go, that would be great if I was sitting right across from the bathroom. But I'm not. They're putting me on the other side of the building when I was working, not working from home, but working at the place of business. My diabetes was pretty bad. And I wake up, I have serious issues. And they just don't care. They're soulless. They won't give me not 1 minute more of break. So, as far as I'm concerned, the whole of corporate America, because of the way they run the world, and they don't really have any considerations or any love or anything like that, to me, that's just... Why isn't this thing picking up? Did it fill up already? Oh, it did. Shit. I didn't think it filled up that quickly. Yeah, it did. Look at that. Anyway. I don't really believe in politics, and voting for some dude to save my ass is not going to work. A vote in their system is a closed system. It's not my system. The American system belongs to the elitists. The whole thing is paid for. Everybody is a peon in their corporation masquerading as a government. And it's been masquerading as a government since a long time ago. It's just a business, and they're there to process people. In the criminal justice system, they'll just follow the letter of the law and process you. There's no mercy or compassion. In the legal system, in the legislature, in the legislature, they make laws that benefit corporations. They're not there to benefit the individual. They're not there to uphold constitutional law. You have to go ahead and file all the way to the Supreme Court just to get them to review it. And there's several different ways they can just turn it down. It's just ridiculous. People think that you're living in a democracy, but it's supposed to be a republic. And it's not. It's more like a corporate. It's more like a corporation. Doesn't really act like anything but a corporation, guys. Anyway. Just trying to get stamina. Hopefully I don't provoke that spine thing. Yeah, I just don't have any faith in the system. I have faith that the people might find a way out. The people might figure some things out. You know, individuals. But thing is, most individuals are selfish nowadays and cruel. It's like that thing we were watching the other day where he asked about the women. And he asked the Filipino women about that American woman. And she goes, "Oh, she's selfish. She's selfish. She wouldn't do anything for her man." You know? What that is, guys, is that there's no real love there. It's fake. The woman just wants to be served. She doesn't want to serve. You know, relationship is two ways. Yeah, I never had the relationships I wanted or anything, but there was nothing around me to have relationships with. The girls were only interested in good-looking guys that had money. They don't really want to talk. They just want to sit there, look pretty, and do nothing all day. Just lazy women. I mean, I've never seen an active woman. The active women, they're going to go find an active guy who's very high-strung, who's got a lot to go for. But these people, they get together, they have a kid or two, and then after time, they just fall out of love with each other. It's, they don't even last a few years. It's like they're there to birth a couple of kids, and then after that, go fuck yourself. In a bad way. It's just, I don't know. Nothing down here makes any real sense to me anymore. In any sense of the word, I don't get it, man. But the thing is, it's you could see it as a dark satanic agenda where they're inverting the relationships. Oh, it's already full up already, huh? Wow. Yeah. So anyway, let me get these nodes here because these look pretty cool. To 112. Come on, man. Jeez, this thing is so laggy. It's just there's so many people on the server, that's why. Look at that shit. Look at that shit, man. So laggy. Yeah, I had a couple of opportunities, but I was weak. And because I was weak, then my mom basically transformed me into a simp. She pretty much destroyed me. And, now that she's dead, her spells are off, but the damage she did has to be reversed. And I work on trying to be more macho and stuff like that, more assertive, more independent, more alpha. In other words, a little bit more alpha, less pussy, and I do what I can in that regard, but I couldn't imagine having a relationship with a woman nowadays. They're fucking crazy, man. You don't know what her mentality is, and it's gonna be some crazy stupid shit, man. I'm telling you, crazy stupid shit every time. Anyway, we have time for another video. Let's check it out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Ford Boss Me. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to this gentleman. And after this next video, I'm going to have to stop it and go out and take care of the animals. So anyway, can you possibly do a video about how to escape the system?
What's up, everybody? So today's video.
Born into a corrupt system is his channel name. Is there a way to escape the system? Is what they asked him.
Your request. How to escape the system? It's not easy. It's almost impossible, but it is probably possible. There's a lot of people that try and live off the grid. Now, not everyone's going to want to do that. Me personally, I don't know if I would want to do that because it won't be easy. Life itself ain't easy, and that's even harder. The only way I could see it is moving into the woods or something and just trying to survive on your own, which is what some people do. Just like, for example, the show Naked and Afraid, where they try and survive, it's all survival. They look for food, things that's gonna help them survive and shit, but I don't find that to be fun or enjoyable. It's like how I look at it as you're just twisted, by the balls either way. You're darn if you work, you're darn if you go off the grid. But some people may not mind going off the grid, everyone's different. If you're a person that wants to go off the grid and feels they have a better chance doing that, go for it, I guess, that's all I can say. But unfortunately, it's just not an easy way. It's just truly hard to escape. Now, there could be things that could help you, like, for example, winning the lottery, which is pretty much impossible. But if you would win the lottery, you could probably escape the society. That would be one way to escape the system. Another way is if you become really successful at YouTube, if you enjoy making YouTube videos, whatever type of content, whether it's gaming, ranting, vlogging, whatever the hell, and that, let's say, succeeds, then that's another good way to escape the system, because you have all the time in the world. You can make a video wherever you want. You could be in the comfort of your house, the comfort of your car, almost like with my situation. But unfortunately, I'm not a successful YouTuber where I'm making tons and tons of money where I could say this is helping me make a living. That unfortunately is not the case. I don't know if it'll ever be the case, but if that were to be the case, yeah, then that would help me escape the system where I don't have to worry about being a 9-to-5 sucker like everyone else. But that's one way of doing it. But it's just, the thing that sucks is we don't have a lot of options. It's just hard. A lot of people say, for example, be your own boss, which is another word of saying don't work for a boss, be the one in charge, have like your own business or things like that, but in all, you're still a sucker because you got to maintain your business. You got to make sure your business is doing good, whatever business it is. I'm not going into detail what business, but business in general. You're your own boss, but you still got to have stress because you got to make sure everything succeeds. You don't want to go bankrupt, for example. So it's just, there's really no valid way of truly escaping the system. I mean, there may be some ways, but not everyone can be able to handle that. This person would be like, I'm just going to go off the grid. I'm just going to go live in the woods. Not everyone's going to like that. That person may be fine with it, while another person may not be fine with it, So maybe to some people it's not so bad, while other people it is bad, That's how I look at it as. It's just truly hard. That's what's so sucky about life. We're just truly trapped. That's how I look at it as. We're just truly trapped. We're just in a booby trap. As soon as you're born, it's like you're just born into a booby trap. And it's not like you had any whereabouts about it. It just happened. We just came out of the tunnel. We just came out of the tunnel and here we are. And now there's really no light at the end of the tunnel. Even though it's light outside doesn't mean it's actual light. That's the thing that sucks with life. I feel like there's not a lot of options. You either just work or become homeless. That's the majority of that's like the main thing. Because you need friggin' money for everything. Literally for food, for everything. Just to have the meat on your friggin' bones, just to have clothes on your body. It's crazy. Just to not have a horrible smell. Because if you don't have money, how are you going to shower? How are you going to do anything? That's crazy. That's the thing that sucks with living off the grid. How do you clean yourself? I mean, maybe there's little lakes, but how clean are you really getting, Some people, I guess, just don't mind it. And hey, good for them. I mean, to each their own. I wish everyone to be happy and do what they truly love, but that's the thing. People be like, just live off the grid like if it's so easy. And the truth is, it's not.
It's not easy.
Maybe for some people it's not so bad, but for other people it is. Not everyone's going to like to do what you like to do, That's the thing people slack to understand. That's the thing people always slack to understand. Like, I wish I could actually give some advice of how we could truly escape the system, but the truth is, I really can't. There's just some ways that maybe could help us, but it's very rare to happen. I mean, we could all go decide to live in the woods. That every single one of us could decide to do, but not everyone's gonna like that. Winning the lottery may free you, but then you have other worries. If people know about it, they may want to try and kill you or shit because they're jealous. You got all this millions and millions or however much you win. YouTube's another way, or, any type of social media that makes, gives you money. But the thing is, not everyone, it's hard for everyone. Some people may get big on it. Some people may not. But if you were to, let's say, grow really well and make good money on it, and that's a way of escaping the system because you're doing something you truly love to do and you're in the comfort of your bubble. In other words, your home or wherever you make videos. You're a gamer, you're in the comfort of your room making games, whatever games you're making. Or whatever content in general, All you need is Wi-Fi, internet, same thing, Wi-Fi, internet, a computer, a phone, a camera, some kind of electronic device that can get your videos, and there you go, you're gooch. You're set. But it's just, sadly, it's not easy for everyone. Not everyone makes it big, unfortunately. And for whoever's thinking about becoming a YouTuber, I wish everyone here the best. Any type of social media that you're trying to look into that makes money, I wish you all the best. Not sure if that's going to mean anything, like meaning if it's going to happen, but I do wish it to happen for you, But sadly, there's just not a, really good way of saying how to escape the system because a lot of us are just trapped. We have no choice. We got to work more than one job. Even that still just, even barely making a living. We're like zombies, bloodshot. No, officer, I'm not high. I'm not on drugs. I'm not drunk or anything. I'm just exhausted because of the way the system is. Well, you're going to have to step out of the car anyway just to make sure. Oh, shit, you were right. You were telling the truth. Yes, officer. Yes. Ah, man. It's just so unhealthy the way we live. It's like people think this is healthy for us. You know, well, keeps you busy, man. It gets you out of the house. Yeah, it's healthy to be out of the house. It's healthy to get out in the world. Yes, can't say it's not, but it's not healthy to just be a sucker working 8 hours a day, if not more, just to go home and do the same cycle all over again. I just feel like that's a scar. It's just it's a curse. I don't see what's healthy or beneficial about that. You're just wasting away. You're doing something you can't stand, but you have no choice. You got to keep making money. The bills ain't ever going to stop. I don't see that healthy. I just see that stressful and annoying and just unbearable. It's like we're just trying to keep our heads above water. And I've said that so many times. We're just trying to stay above water. And we're losing the battle. Some of us are already drowning. Some of us long drowned already. Some of us are drowning as we speak, like, and some of us are just trying to skin by. That's how I literally look at the society as. And it's just hard. People just, I don't know, it's just, I don't know how people could see that this is healthy, this is good for us, when it's really not. This isn't living. This is just serving, man. I don't know how many more times to say that. If people think this is living, I don't know. There's something really wrong with people. There is something really wrong with people, because this is what they think. They think this is living. This is how life should be.
See, he's talking about the contemporary thought processes, and the original plan was for you to work, get paid decently, if not well, save up money, make investments, start your own business, etc., become an entrepreneur. But if you ever talk to anybody who's successful, they don't have lives. None of these people have lives. Get over there. Everybody wants me to anyway. Focus on what the original one was. And the original was, like I said, eventually you make so much money, you retire, or you go into business. People who go into business and they're about chasing that bag, chasing that money, that's like saying, I'm proud of chasing the carrot. That's just as bad as somebody saying, I'm proud of being an employee for 10, 20, 30 years. The whole planet is based on one concept: enslaving your fellow man. And turning around and saying, you're just an employee. You're just a tenant. You're just a customer. It's all slavery. It's all about enslaving people psychologically and physically to do your will and your bidding. The planet's run by dark magicians, and they know how to weave their spells. See, this kid's really young, and he does have a very innocent outlook. When he gives his perspective, he's pulling examples into the logic and reason that he knows about, which we all do. We all pull examples in, right? But there was an original plan that got scrapped, and now they want you in a facility, paying rent, staying off the streets so you get what you need, but you're going to be paying rent to these corporations who are not in any way morally or ethically obligated to take care of you. And that's a problem. Because you can't have a family in black mold. Like in that other video, the lady had black mold for years. Her children got sick, and they had to pay money to get rid of that shit. The corporation didn't do anything. They just wanted their rent. That's all they care about. So business is pure corruption in this world. I wouldn't say this country. I'd say the whole world. And it's always been corrupt. It's always been about enslaving a people to get free labor to go out and mine a resource or create a resource that you can turn around and sell. Those slaves on the plantations were free labor. They were slaves. They were conditioned to be slaves. And all they did is work the fields. That's all they did. They never owned anything. They never had anything. Nothing. One lady was chained to the stove in the kitchen. All she did was cook all day. That's it. That's how evil people are to other people. And right now you have people in jail who fucked up. Maybe they fucked up, maybe they didn't. I don't know. But they're in horrendous situations. They got no resources. They're essentially dead. They're fucked. And they're going to die in that box. And if they get let out, they're going to probably wind up back in that box because they don't have anything. The first thing the court does is it fines the shit out of you and takes all your money. They take all your money. They fine the shit out of you. They fee you. The lawyer fines the fuck out of you. The lawyer's not your friend. He's there to make money. He's not there because he's a nice guy. Even if he comes off as nice, he's not there to help you. A lawyer is a ward of the court. He owes his obligation to the court. Anyway.
The way it's always been, but it doesn't mean this is how we should be living. We deserve so much better than this. Yet we don't strive for a new direction. We just keep living the same stale direction. We don't think of anything else. We don't see another pattern. This is the only pattern we see because this is the way it's always been. From the moment of birth to death, this is how it's been. And this is the way, sadly, it's always going to be. And it's just going to get even harder, it seems, sadly. Hope to be wrong, but fortunately, you could just see it for yourself. At least I could.
Not consolidating.
I just look at us as we're on a big, giant leash. Well, actually, the leash is shortened. There's so many things we want to do, but why can't we do it? We don't have money for it. We don't have enough money for it. Everything that you want to do costs money. Events, vacation, wherever. Money. So you got to be strapped and know your limits of what you could do and what you can't do. Because there's things you want to do, but you know you can't do because you don't have the funds. So the leash just yanks you back. Now you got to get back on the hamster wheel and try to make some more money to try and do what you want to do. Oh, wait. You may not be able to because that money you just made now has got to go on this bill or on this fee or whatever the hell. So now you just never release from the leash. The leash just gets shorter. You used to have good freeway, now you have nothing. Now you're just strapped. And people say this is healthy. It's healthy to be chained up 24/7. There's so many things we want to do. We want to explore the world. There's so many people that want to do whatever it is they want to do, and they can't because work gets in the way of it. Not having enough money gets in the way of it. All that stuff combined gets in the way of it. So now boredom takes place because this is what we want to do, but we can't do because we don't have the money. So we're bored, stressed out, pissed off, you name it. That's healthy for us? I don't see anything healthy about that. That's just irritation for us. At least how I look at it as. It's disgusting. It's disgusting what we all gotta face. Some people like nature. Sometimes nature calms people down. Sometimes I agree. Nature is nice to some degree. Sometimes it can be cruel as well. Just like the whole world itself. Yeah. There's some things that are therapeutic, but sadly those things don't last because reality always takes away of it. It's like, for example, you get drunk or you're having a good time doing something, that's going to eventually come to an end. Reality is going to come back in the picture. You're on vacation, that's not going to last. That's going to eventually expire to the point where, all right, time to get back to work, back to the old grind. Reality's always got to just ruin everything. Reality's always got to just crush everything. There's a train. But, yeah. That's why they say, I guess you could say, pleasure is only temporarily because pleasure doesn't seem to last. The torment seems to last. You get little or pretty much no pleasure in this world. It's very hard. Because the majority of the time, you're just doing shit you don't want to do. You're stressed out about something, whatever it is. Money, bills, well, I guess that all includes money. You name it. People have health problems. Life is just full of problems. Life itself is a big problem. Life itself is a huge problem. And we're just stuck in it.
Firestone tires are built for any terrain, anytime.
That's how I look at it as. We're just stuck here until the very end. That's why when people die young, I don't know why people say, oh man, he had such a life ahead of him. He's lucky. he or she's lucky. They got that easy ticket. That's how I look at it as. They got that easy ticket out of this. He had such a whole life at home. He lucked out. He got out of this life as fast as possible. Something we wish we can do, to just escape this misery once and effing for all. Not to sound dark, but seriously, where we're in is unfortunately dark. He got to escape. He had a whole life ahead of him. He was going to go to school and study being a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever the hell. Kidding me? He's got the best wish of all out of this bullshit. He don't got to worry about any of that stupid shit now. Studying, wasting away, doing this, doing that. Now he just does this. In other words, lay down, relax. For eternity. Ah, man. But anyway, people, I'm going to call it a day. Love everyone here, man. Thank you all for the, for the video requests. And thank you all for watching. And we'll be making more soon. If you got any more requests, please leave them down below. And at some point in the future, I will try and make them. Like I say, I don't go in order. I may not make your request right away. Maybe a couple of months down. Heck, it could even be a year from now. Who knows? But I don't go in order. I just choose randomly, so sometimes I don't see it at all. So don't think I'm ignoring or anything, It's just sometimes I don't see it. Sometimes it gets deleted. That's another thing. YouTube always deletes crap. I end up getting the blame for it, like always. No matter how many times I try to tell people, I always get the blame. That's why I feel like this is something I always got to repeat over and over and over for new people that come across the channel, because I end up getting the blame. I was even called an asshole, like this asshole deleted my comment. No, I'm not the asshole. YouTube is unfortunately the assholes in that perspective. But anyway, that's all I got to say for now, guys. Signing off. Love you all. Peace out. Take it easy, man.
Jesus. The world fucking taking a meteor. Anyway. Oh, that kid. Oh, boy. That's funny as hell. Okay, guys. Anyway, I got to go outside and take care of some stuff and do some work around the house today. Still trying to breed. I keep getting females. I get a few females, and I'm like one stat away. It won't pass on the melee stat. This one has all the stats except 1 point in melee that's off. Just 1 point. That's it. I need to make it a 370, and they're 369. So can you believe that shit? So I'm going to keep trying to see if I can pass on that and get a female with the melee. Anyway, thank you for watching. It's been interesting. Yeah, the thing is, escape from the closest thing to escaping the system is finding clever ways to use the system against itself. That's the only thing you're going to get to do. You can't escape the system. Even if you go out in the middle of nowhere in public land and try to build a life, there's going to be some drug addict over there or somebody trying to hurt you, and you're going to wind up calling the feds or the cops or a sheriff or whatever, a ranger, to come and help you out. They're part of the system. There's no escaping the system. Unless you have a submarine and you can live underwater, you can't escape the system. Unless you have an ecosystem that makes enough food for you and your family year round and requires very little maintenance to maintain, very little outsourcing of electronics and things like that. If society goes down and you don't have any new solar panels, how are you going to make electricity? If your batteries eventually wear out, how are you going to get new batteries? Some things come from the system when we become dependent upon the system, and that's why it has control. Unfortunately, we would have to let go of that control and live simpler lives without advanced electronics, like the video game I'm recording. All this advanced stuff, it comes from the system. So that's why they create investments and corporations, and they stand behind these imaginary corporations to cycle through the money. They take over the government with payoffs, and they put everything in their favor. And that's why they're able to take long vacations for months at a time. If you have enough money, you make more than enough money to pay for all your monthly needs. If you need, like I need at least maybe $2,500 to live comfortably. a month. I only make $2,000, so I suffer. Okay, but if I had that coming in and all I had to do was, work around the house, this place would be so clean it would be ridiculous. You know what I mean? If I had all day and I didn't have to work and I just had money coming in and I would get a stipend from that money, then I'd be good to go. But I know better than to trust anybody with my money, to trust banks or trust anything. I know that as soon as the Fed gives a signal, as soon as the government decides to take back money or destroy the economy, all those banks are going to turn against you. All your jobs are going to be gone overnight. They're going to destroy everybody. They don't care. So that's why I'm like, just be thankful you have what you have, even though you're a corporate slave, even though you fail to escape the system by using the system against the system. That's fine. There's nothing in this life that says you have to do this or that. There's nobody saying you have to go out and save the lost. That's the preaching. That's the preaching. The preaching says you have to go out and save the lost. But the thing is, when you go out and you talk to the lost, they're lost voluntarily most of the time, and they want to be lost, and that's for the real reason they're lost. If somebody wants to be lost and stay lost, you can't help them. Even that applies to me too. And that's one thing I noticed. People really believe that they're going to go out and be righteous. Well, to be the Good Samaritan, you have to be able to pay the price for these other people. And some of these people need medical help they can't get. They have medicines that they can't get. They have no housing, nothing. Nobody wants to take in a stray cat. That's why I have, I got offended when my so-called friend tried to trick me and force me to take in a cat home that he said has to be rehomed. It's like, why does this cat have to be rehomed? Why aren't these people responsible for this cat? Well, it turns out that he just wanted to dump the responsibility on me. Probably told his daughter, I know the perfect guy for that. I'm sure he'll take the cat. And tried to dump the responsibility. I already have like 6 cats plus outside animals I try to feed. And this dumb idiot thinks that I'm going to take another cat in. I had to reject a cat because it wasn't getting along with the other cats. And it was just causing a lot of trouble. So I had to put it out. I didn't want to, but I had to. I have a heart for strays. I like stray cats because nobody wants them. But I can't save them all. The Good Samaritan is only as good as he can pay. A Good Samaritan is only as good as he can pay to help the person they found that was broken. If you can't afford to pay for that person's going to drag you down with them. And that's what my friend did. He used up a lot of resource. He didn't contribute significantly, and he was just a bum. But the thing is, he wasn't a bum because he was in a physical state. He's a bum because he's in that mental state of being a bum. He just wants to mooch and parasite. And I don't have a place for another fucking parasite in my life. I had plenty of them. The cats can't work. The cats don't understand what money is. The cats can't contribute. The only thing they can do is maybe kill a roach or a mouse or whatever. That's it. They have more excuse than a human being does. So anyway, if you learn to use the system against the system and you learn how to invest, you can not escape the system, but you can quell most of the effects of the system. If you're living a life and you always have plenty of money to pay for what you need and your needs are met and you have no lack, that is about the only state you can work yourself towards, where you actually don't lack any money or resource or funds or a space to live or anything like that, where your investments pay for all that shit. Then you can take lavish vacations for months at a time, probably not forever, and that's it. And you can be about what's it called? Where you're really generous, anthropomorphicism. I forgot what it's called. So you could be like one of those guys that gives money away, and that's the only way to do it. You have to use the system against the system, But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope somebody got something out of it. I'm gonna take off. I got stuff to do. Busy. Bye-bye.